Hi, this is Chuck with NeverMeasure, and for today's video we're going to talk about one of the most frequently asked questions we receive, and that's around how to compensate for the location of our hanging features if we want the picture to be at a specific height. And that's going to be done very simply with the integrated numbering features along the NeverMeasure body. So for the first style of hanging feature we're going to show you how to compensate for, we're going to use the single wire feature. And that's going to be done first by finding the center point of our picture, because that's where the hanging feature is going to be located. So what we want to do is, very simply with NeverMeasure, is open up our arms until we touch both sides. Once we have both sides we're even, we know that our center point is here, and we're going to go ahead and mark that center point. Okay. So now that I have that center point marked, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and collapse the arms here, and then I'm going to align the center point of the NeverMeasure body to the top of my picture, and then I'm going to line that up with the center point here of the picture, and then I'm just going to raise the wire up, and as I look I can see where that number is going to align, and it looks like it aligns around the number 82. Okay, so now that I have the number 82, what I'm going to do is go to where the center point of where I want my picture to be hung. Once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and rotate the body vertically. I'm going to put the center point on that point. I'm going to then level it vertically, and once I have it leveled, I'm going to go down and mark the number 82. Once I have that marked, that's where I'll put my fastener, and now I've compensated for the height of the fastening device. For the next hanging feature we're going to show you is just a simple single hanging bracket. Okay, to do that it's going to be similar to what we just talked about with the wire. We're going to line up our center point with the top of our picture, and then we're just going to follow the numbers down until we see where we need our screw. In this case it's the number 23. So now that I have that number, I'm going to go to where I want the top of my picture to be. I'm going to line the center point. I'm going to level it vertically. Once I'm level, I'm going to mark the number 23, and then I've compensated for the distance between the top of my picture and the hanging feature. Okay. So with that one, I'm going to show you is a double hanging feature. And the reason I want to show you that is because one of the other most frequently asked questions we get asked is around the idea that our hanging fasteners are not level. So that's the question, is how do we ensure that they're level? So one of the easy ways of doing that is to, similarly the way that we looking at our compensation, is that we're going to align the center point with the top of our picture, and we're going to see where that number lines up to our fastener, and it lines up to 27. I'm going to come over to the other side. I'm going to line that up, and if I look at that number, it also lines up to the number 27. So now that I see that they're both equally spaced from the top of the picture, I should be level when I place my fasteners. Now, if you do the measurement and you find that one is lower than the other, again, it's real easy with the numbering system. Instead of marking 27, you just mark it 29 or whatever that distance may be. You just mark it a little bit further down or up depending on the feature location. Just the one thing that you got to remember is the way that you're looking at the picture. So in this case, I'm doing it from the front looking backwards. So obviously this left one, if it were lower on my wall, the left one would be lower. But if I was looking at it from the other direction, just make sure that you mark the right spot so that you're not compensating to the wrong latch. Okay. So with that, lastly, I'm going to show you is a picture that has kind of a non-standard feature at the top. So in this case you can see here that the top of the picture actually sticks up further than the fasteners. So in this case, or if it's rounded or some feature that is a little non-standard and non-parallel across the top. So to do that, we're actually going to use both of the NeverMeasures. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn the NeverMeasure over so I have a good bottom, and I'm going to slide that up to my fasteners. Okay, now that I have that as my location, what I can do then is, once I have that as my location, what I can do then is take the smaller NeverMeasure. Again, it has the same numbering features. Okay, and then now that I have that, I'm going to come here, I'm going to slide that down, and I'm going to see where that number lines up, and it lines up to the number 34. So now that I have my compensation number, I know that when I go to where I want the top of this picture to be, my mark, what I'm going to do similarly is I'm going to line up, instead of the center point, I'm actually going to line up the top of the body here. I'm going to line that up, I'm going to level it vertically, then I'm going to go down and mark it 34, and now I've compensated for this section, or again if it's rounded or some uneven top, it's a way to do that compensation. So if you do run into another situation or another fastening scheme that you're not quite sure of how to handle, just drop us a note at NeverMeasure.com. Thank you very much.